Mary Freya Eve, party people. I'm back with another Goddess of Genesis video, and this one is going to be about powering up your characters. I see a lot of people post on social media that they feel their characters are underpowered or they're struggling with content and they don't know what to do. So this video is going to go over all the different ways you can power up your characters. And there's a lot. I was looking through this, taking notes, and there's a lot of different ways you can power up. So I wouldn't be surprised if you might be missing out on a couple of them. So the first and most important number to look at is your character level. Here I've got 69, and in terms of PvE, you need to be typically within 10 levels of your opponent. So if I'm fighting enemies that were, for example, level 80, not that I will, but if they were out there, I would be having problems, because if you're under 10 levels from your opponent, there's a damage handicap, so you're going to be doing considerably less damage no matter how well your character is built. So keep that in mind. Character level is probably the most important statistic when it comes to PvE in relation to your opponent. Now, another way you can level up your characters that's very important, that's easy to overlook, is the star level. So here Joan of Arc has 4 stars. If you hit the view magnifying glass at the top left, you can see what ability upgrades and talent upgrades she gets when she gets to, for example, level 5 or 5 stars. You know, her talent upgrades. But if you look, every time you increase the star level, you also increase your base stats, and you unlock additional stats as well. So star levels is a really important way to power up your characters, and it's also the one that takes the longest, because the way you upgrade your character's star levels is you have to earn these puzzle pieces, which you get from sharding up your character. And the way you do that typically is you can either go to the packs and give your character, for example, Joan here, I can give her 2 heroic grails. And if you're not sure how to get heroic grails, look at my other videos. For the most part, I recommend being in a guild, because that can get you at least 6 heroic grails per day. The other way you can level up your character's star levels is to summon multiple copies of them, which if you're free to play, that's going to be very difficult. But if you're a whale, you can just keep summoning until you get your characters up to 6 stars or limit break. Now, another way you can level up your characters, if you look on the bottom here, is the Awaken tab. Actually, I should go to a different character. Let's say Marco Polo. So this is your typical Awakening tab, where as you awaken your characters, I recommend using the guild store to awaken them. But as you can see here, you'll get different ability upgrades, and you also will improve your character's stats. Not the best example, but here, like the level 10 awakening boosts your PvP damage and damage reduction noticeably. And every time you awaken your characters, you get better stats. And then when you get to, say, this point, after you do awaken 10, you can choose between either a Genesis or an Oblivion upgrade. The Genesis upgrade increases your character's defensive stats. The Oblivion upgrade upgrades their offensive stats. And if you look in the middle here at the pact effects, there's additional stat boosts here where you can increase strength by 5%, crit by 10%, and PvP damage and reduction by 10% on the Oblivion side. And the way you get those upgrades is you have to pay those keys down here. So all these different keys, which you can get from farming adventure mode, this is kind of what you do endgame. You're going to need a ton of keys to unlock the pact effects, which also are gated behind your character level being level 60, 65, and 70. So that's kind of endgame what you're looking at for the awakening upgrades. But as you can see, there's a lot of stat boosts that are tied to this, and you can choose defensive or offensive skill set, and you can switch between them as well. Now, the most obvious way to upgrade a character is probably going to be the gear. Like, I bet everybody is already doing this. You're probably leveling your gear up to level 60, which is pretty easy. But when you get to level 60, you have this option in the lower left here to rebirth your equipment. And if you look, the Rebirth materials to upgrade are kind of daunting. You need 2 of these Hammer of Creation, which are not too hard to get. You need 100 or 99 Odin's Eye, which you get by farming Astral Shore 70. Planar Alloy, you'll have plenty if you're farming Astral Shore. But this is actually probably going to be the bottleneck that holds you up from upgrading all your gear to level 70. You need these Blessings of Revelation, which you can get in the gear store, but it requires Sage Stones, which I typically get from doing guild activities like Dark Pact. You might get some from doing Guild War, I'm not sure about that. You also get them from farming Astral Shore in the Supreme Rewards, but Sage Stones are kind of the currency of choice when you get to endgame, and you need to be getting this Blessing of Revelation because it gives you one a week. That's your regular way of getting them. You also can get them from special events, but this is the most regular way that I know of that you can acquire these, and they're the bottleneck for getting all your gear to level 70. Now, when you do, actually, since I'm here and it's Freya Eve, I'm going to rebirth my Stellaris Radiance here just for Freya, who will be arriving tomorrow. So when you rebirth your gear, notice that it drops from level 60 to level 50, but now you can upgrade it twice, and each time you do, you get additional stats. So now it's level 70, and not only did that boost the stats of the equipment to level 70, you also have the option now to do a blessing. And here I'm going to do one just as an example. When you bless your item, you give it 1 purple star, and it also unlocks 1 slot where you can now put an emblem in, and that emblem can give you different stats. You need to farm the elemental tower to get these emblems. I'm going to drop in a speed gem here because Freya is going to be one of the fastest characters on your team, and I want to boost that even further. But as you can see, these emblem slots cost a lot of money and a lot of upgrade materials. It's mainly the gold cost, I think, that's really tough here. And if you look at, there's 6 emblem slots at level 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, and 70. You'll unlock all those different emblem slots, and then you have to pay for the blessings. But as you can see, one piece of equipment has potential to upgrade 6 custom slots on top of that with different stats in each. So the jump from level 60 to 70 is not just the jump of 10 levels, it also includes all those emblem slots, which are a pretty significant stat boost, so don't overlook that for sure. Now, the next thing on the tab is the artifact or gem tab, and not only do gems give you this astrology bonus for having multiples within the same group. So here I'm getting a damage boost for having 3 Capricorn gems, but gems also have stats tied to them, and this is also part of the end game. Is you want to farm gems that have the right stats that you want, as well as in the high quantity. So for example, Lilith is right now the fastest member of my team, though Freya is probably going to replace her in that. And in the dark, water, and light slots, I have speed gems because going first in PvP is very important. So, when you get to endgame, you're going to be farming all types of different gems, and you want to be looking to boost certain stats. So, for example, I've picked speed here for my main damage dealers in PvP. Now, when it comes to perks, this is where you want to go to. What's a good example? So if you go to the warrior tree, which I have not built up, there's 3 different pages where you can upgrade your characters by class. So for example, here, all my warriors, who I do not have any, you can upgrade individual stats. So for example, here there's strength, there's hit points, and these require different materials that you're going to get from farming Grand Archives. So when you're upgrading your perk trees, make sure that you're getting all the different stats. And if you look at the 3rd page, there's going to be a hit point percentage, and over here there's a flat HP up, and the percentage is always going to be stronger than the base stat increase, but it's also going to be more expensive to upgrade. So as you're going through your different perk upgrades, make sure you're upgrading the percentage first, even though it's more expensive, but that's kind of the priority because that's going to give you the bigger stat boost. But eventually you're going to want all your character stats to be upgraded, the base statistics in the perk tree. And then you also want to focus on the specific perk that your unit is going to be using. So for example, my tanks are using Death Pulse, and that's why I have this perk maxed, because if you look at the bottom here, there's a stat upgrade that goes with every perk. So if you have that perk equipped, if you upgrade it fully, you'll get additional stats from using a maxed out perk. So make sure you're doing that as well. Now while we're here, this is the packed menu where you can upgrade your character's star levels. So for example, I want to upgrade Jones. Oh, I already did that. Let's see, who do I have? Let's do Artemis. So not only can you upgrade the star levels in this menu, you can also upgrade character stats. So for example, if you click on these crystals over here on the right, you can upgrade things like hit points, defense, strength, intelligence, and all stats. So for example, for Joan, I want to increase her defense. So make sure you're not overlooking this, because it could be very easy to not know about that you can upgrade your character stats individually here. And you need to get these materials from the Phantom of the Opera mission. Now another way you can upgrade your characters is in the manual. And here, as you level up your character's star levels and you awaken them, you will automatically increase your manual level. And here you can see the manual gives a damage bonus and a hit point bonus to all your characters in your entire party. So, you know, this is also a reason why you want to be building up all your characters. You want to be leveling up all their star levels and awakening everybody, because that will increase the entire group's hit points and damage. Now, a final way you can upgrade your characters is when you're in a guild, you have access to this guild ability store where you can be increasing these effects or these stats for all your characters. So all my characters have plus 20 speed, which helps them go first. They all have increased crit, 10% RSL to help reduce crit. So if you're not in a guild, make sure you join a guild and you're upgrading these guild abilities. And the way you do that is in the guild shop, you can buy these Eyes of Horus for 300 guild points. So make sure you're doing that. And that's all the different ways that I'm aware of that you can increase your character stats. If I missed one, let me know in the comments. And I hope you guys have saved up plenty of material to summon Freya, because she is coming tomorrow and she's going to be probably the best character in the game for the next 5 months. So I hope you're ready and prepared to summon Freya. Okay, good luck. Have fun, everybody. See you tomorrow.